G'day, my name is Shay with Box Collector, and today I'll be teaching you how to play the 1 to 5 player game Echoes of the Sundering, designed by Kyle Sussenbach and published by the Wildforge, who provided me with this copy. Now please note that this is a demo copy, and all rules and components are subject to change. Echoes of the Sundering is a cooperative, open-world deck construction adventure, taking over 30 hours to complete. You will create a party of heroes and explore the valley through a beautifully illustrated map book. Along the way, you will face dynamic, narrative-driven encounters, and should you succeed, will grow in power, gain new cards to add to your deck, and new items to complete your playstyle. The story reacts to players' decisions, and no two playthroughs will be the same. So let's go ahead and take a look at the table. The storybook is going to be your guide throughout the campaign. As you continue through the book, you're going to see locations. The starting location is going to be Ildor, but as you continue on through, you'll move on to the first location, guard station, and so on. But this book is going to give you a rundown of how to begin the game. And instead of me doing what I've done in past videos, which is talk about how to set up the game, I'm going to kind of walk us through this book together, because it does a really good job of helping us slowly kind of understand what components we need and how we're gonna go about this game. All right, so let's get right into it. I'm just gonna go ahead and start reading what it is that this book has to say. You have come to the Rooted Soul, the massive tree that stands on the border of the Anwen Valley in response to a crisis. For years, a poisonous fog known as the Pale has filled the valley, consuming all who dwell within it. Soon it will expand beyond the Anwen and swallow up your home, perhaps even the rest of the land. Time is running out. Something must be done to stop or slow the mist. The answer seems to lie in the ancient city that is housed on the Soul's branches. There, once a year, a renowned chieftain holds a competition called the Crucible, designed to test the mettle of warriors from all over Aureus. Not sure if I'm saying that right. The winners are outfitted with equipment and granted vials of an elixir that can temporarily combat the effects of the mist. Some of you have a nearby hamlet or village you call home. Some of you have heard that there are great and ancient secrets hidden in the valley. Some of you long for a chance to prove your prowess, but all of you agree that the Pale must be stopped before it poisons the world. So you can see right here, here's the first thing the game's telling us to do: gain Arrival Quest 1. All right, so this deck has what we're looking for here. So I will take 1/1 Arrival. We've come to the Rooted Soul and the village of Ildor and its branches to find a way to end the threat of the Pale. All right, you follow a long, winding staircase up and around the trunk of the Rooted Soul. It ends at a gate of everglass. An ancient man with white hair bursting from his ears and a blindfold around his eyes smiles as you approach. Welcome, one and all, to Ildor. I am Karmarth, the city's analyst. Here I write down information about all who entered our city. Tell me, who are you? What is your story? Information on origins and backgrounds is listed below. Adventurers should choose one origin and one background and cannot choose the same origin or background as another adventurer. Once you finish deciding, gain the cards listed. So now we get to actually pick our character. So we've got the dwarves, the humans, the Ashwoken, the blue elves, and the Fey folk. And, it gives you a description kind of what you can learn from each of these groups. So basically, a little bit different than some other things you might have seen. So the dwarves, instead of being in the mountains, they're more craftsmen, traders. They traverse swamps and islands. So they're kind of like wanderers. The humans are basically what you can expect. There's a lot of lore to this game, so it kind of goes into talking about kind of the religions, people that they believe in and they follow. The Ashwoken are kind of like what you would stereotypically believe a dwarf to be. So they live in the mountains and the caverns. They're a little bit more isolated. And it says here, they're eager to take on impossible tasks. The blue elves, They're proud and perfectionistic, but there was an elvish war, and so they lost their main town, which unfortunately resulted in the Fey folk, who used to have the gift of flight, to no longer be able to fly. But the Fey folk, they are more of healers, and obviously they kind of, like stick to the forests. They have the arts of illusion. So they all kind of have their own thing. And you know what? I think I'm just going to go with Ashwoken. So if you choose Ashwoken, gain adventure card 3. All right, so here is my Ashwoken card. And then what's cool is now I can choose to kind of customize my clan, who I follow, and when I left home. So kind of, choose my own story within my character. So my clan resides in, I can choose the Red City or the Floodrush Caverns, and depending on what city, I either have Siphon or Undaunted. So Siphon, I can spend X of an ally's health to grant 2x health to me. Or Undaunted, you may only play this card immediately after you receive an attack to gain some stamina. I like Undaunted. I don't really want to... This card seems kind of selfish, so I'll go with Undaunted. All right, and then I can follow Korvath, God of Courage, to gain Daring, or Alesh, God of Desire, to gain Craving. So Daring, once per round, you may spend 2 health to deal 1 attack. Or Craving, reduce an ally's health equal to 2 times the stamina of an ability in your play area to repeat its effect. I'll go with Daring, I think. All right, and then the last thing, when I left home, my family presented me with a vision book where I record my dreams, gain vision book. Or my family presented me with the tooth of a Chiraith, the symbol for bravery carved into the back of it, gain Chiraith tooth. All right, so the vision book, once per round, you may view the top card of your deck. You may discard a card to gain it, otherwise discard it. Or once per round, you may spend 2 health to gain a card. I'm basically just replacing a card from my hand with a new card, or get an additional card for 2 health. I think I'll go with the Chiraith tooth. All right, so looks like I've got this card taken care of. All right, so next we've got our backgrounds. The Acolyte, which is an apprentice to a religion. A performer, songs, poems, you love entertaining others. The Highborn, privileged with a family of status and wealth. Wildlander, knowledge and capable of braving the elements. Outcast, you're resourceful, master of resourcefulness. Traitor, you're good at negotiating and persuading others. So, I think I like the idea of being resourceful, but I don't like the idea of being an outcast. And I just don't care about being a traitor. I think I'll go with the Wildlander. So if you choose Wildlander, gain adventure cards B4. All right, I was a Wildlander. So I prefer either finding refuge among trees and plants, gain nature's remedy, or the company of wild animals, gain Tuckin the Ungalat. All right, so for nature's remedy, it's a heal. So once per round, you may discard X amount of cards to grant 3x health. That seems really good. Or there's this pet. Each round during the hero phase, choose one. Spend stamina to deal 1 damage, or spend stamina to grant a taunt. I like the idea of being able to damage people, but this costs 1 to even use it. This one doesn't. And I didn't really choose heal cards earlier, so let's go with Nature's Remedy, I think. All right, and then my greatest skill is tracking. Any beast, any terrain, I can follow it. Gain Hunt. Or my extensive knowledge of plant life, gain Trap. All right, so Hunter, place this card. It costs 4. That's expensive. Place this card next to an enemy. It persists between rounds. The next 4 hero attacks deal +1 attack. After 4 attacks, discard this card. So you're paying 4, but you'll end up getting 4 damage. It's just over 4 rounds. Or you may only play this card when you are attacked for 2 damage. So basically, pay 4 to deal 4 damage over 4 rounds, which is, it's kind of a long time. Or pay 2 to immediately just get 2 damage, which I like that better. with this card being indicated by this lightning bolt, an instant card versus a passive card. So I'm going to go with the trap. All right, so I got that sorted out. So once all heroes have gained their origin and background cards, go to point 1. Excellent, the analyst says. Yes, welcome, one and all. Now, please share your fighting style so that I may record it for posterity. So this will decide your base deck to start the game. If you'd rather pick from a list, you may do so below. So like down here, it explains how you can build that out. If you want to be sorted, take the test on document 0 in the back of the storybook. Your class is depicted by the combination of 2 different colors. No 2 heroes may play the same class. Each color must be represented exactly twice. If you are playing with fewer than 5 adventurers, see rules section 3.1. Once you have finished deciding, gain the cards listed with your choices and continue reading below the list. When you're playing in a hero party of 3, each base color must be represented once and 1 base color will be represented twice. All right, so you can see all of the different decks you can create here on this page. It's helpful to know that blue is defense, red is attack, green is healing, purple is support, and yellow is kind of like a tactician. So out of all the options, I really like this one, being an attacker and like a tactician, strategist sort of a guy. So if red, yellow, challengers deal damage with an additional emphasis on tactics and controlling the battlefield. So that sounds cool to me. So I'll be the challenger. So I'll be grabbing some red and yellow cards. All right, so I've got my challenger class card and the cards for my deck that go along with it. So going back to the old man, marvelous. Thank you so much for this information, and welcome to Ildor. The analyst exclaims, Citrine, our priestess, can tell you more of the Crucible. The bazaar is a bustling place where visitors to Ildor spend most of their time, other than watching the fights in the arena. If you wish, you may also visit me in my home on the highest branch. For now, though, I'll pass you along to the guard station to gather some equipment. Go to location 1. So, right here, we've got location 1, guard station, if supplied. And it has that little symbol there. You might be wondering, okay, well, what does that mean? So throughout the game, in this book here, you will check off things when the game tells you you have a certain status. So you can see here, supplied. If we look here, supplied, it is not checked. So we are not supplied. Whereas you can see here, it says mark supplied. So we're not supplied. So we will just go to, we'll just keep going down. There's a friendly guard outside who beckons you over, leaving Carmarth to his work. You must be recent arrivals for the Crucible. Come in, come in. Name's Elzian. I'll show you the ropes, and you'll show me what you're made of. Gain encounter cards 1 and 1A-1F, and place encounter card 1 and 1A in the play area. Okay, so here is encounter card 1 and 1A. So now I can go over encounters. So this first card shows us the health of the person we're attacking. And you can see here, this triangle with the 3 corners indicates when you're playing with a party of 3. Or there's this pentagon with the 5 corners indicating 5 players. So I'm just going to be playing a game with me and 2 companions, so a 3-player game, meaning that this guard trainer that I'm attacking has 14 health, and my objective is to follow the guard's instructions. And I am going to place 14 health here. So as the health is whittled down, I can kind of track it. And it says here, if this is your first encounter, we recommend referencing the combat rules and guidelines section of the rulebook. If you are playing with companions, we also recommend referencing the companion combat section of the rulebook. And I will go over this for you. So, begin Ildor Guard encounter. And then there's the if defeat and succeed. So let's go ahead and start the encounter and see what happens. All right, so this is our encounter, but I need to show you what me and my companions look like. So this will read the text on this card here. It says, all right, the guard calls out. I'll take it easy at first. Just try to get a few attacks on me as a warm-up. Okay, so this is my player board. So I've got my class, my Treath Tooth that I got, and then my deck of cards. And then these two are going to represent my companions. Now, as I mentioned, the rules say that we need to have all of the different base colors represented. So I've got yellow and red. So I need green, purple, and blue. And then one of the colors will also be a repeat. And I think out of all of the repeats, I want, let's do maybe healing, more of like supporting each other. So maybe we'll see green repeat twice. So, all right, so I've decided to go with a green purple. So a heal support type of character. And that card will go right there. And then a blue-green, so a defender healer, Dara. And one thing to note is instead of them getting a deck of cards, they have these actions available to them. And in an updated version of the game, each of these are going to be their own card, each action. And then when you do the action, you'll put a cube on them. And then when you refresh, you would actually flip the card and it would be a completely new action. And I'm not sure if I made this clear earlier, but when you're playing a card, you can choose to not use its action and instead discard it. And this is kind of the reward you get. So if I discarded this trap card, I would get 1 stamina back. So with these support cards, they also have a separate option with, instead of using them, you can discard them to gain something. So keep that in mind. All right, so I've got my board and I've got my 2 support heroes. Let's take a look and I'll explain kind of what this means a little bit here. And another thing too is in this version of the game, the cards don't have a back, but in an updated version, they do. So it's just a kind of a different set of stats and abilities. So this track up here is your health. So everyone starts with 12 health. And then using certain actions like this one or this one where it has a shield, that's for block. So if I used this ability here where it gives me 2 block, then I would put that there. And now that'll reduce my damage received from all sources. And then it has this little refresh symbol here. So when the refresh phase happens, your block is reset back down to 0. This is your stamina track. And the amount of stamina you start with on the very first round is equal to your recovery. Your recovery is how much stamina you recover after each round. So everyone starts with +3. This person would start off with 3. Kind of sliding this all over here. And then if I chose to use safeguard, then I would spend 2. But then the next round, I get 3 back, meaning I'm going to go up to 4. So that is how stamina and recovery work. And then obviously, if you lose health, then your health track will go down. And I apologize, I forgot to have my tracker here, so I got that fixed. So I will set my health to 12, my recovery to 3, and my stamina at 3. Now another cool thing is the game comes with sleeves. So you can sleeve all of your cards with the back matching your race. Now, cards have 2 different sides. And the side you'll know to have out front in the sleeve is, if you look right here, it has 118. And if I flip it over, it has 2 little pips on either side of the number. That is the back side. So it's the side without the pips that you want visible. All right, so each player gets a stack of 10 of these acrylic squares, tiles, and then you're going to take 2 from each person, put them in the bag, and then when combat is happening and you're being attacked, then you'll draw in here, and whoever you draw lets you know who's being attacked. All right, so let's go back over here and take a look at this card. So this part here is kind of like an if-then statement. So here it's saying, when you're in the hero phase, if you deal 4 damage in a 3-player game or 6 damage in a 5-player game to the guard, then you'll flip this card over. So you'll kind of, you'll continue on through this encounter. And then down here, once again, you've got the 3 and the 5-player. We're going with the 3-player. So when it's the guard's turn, they're going to attack with 4 to 3 players. This indicates speed. So the number of times that the enemy is going to deal damage to heroes. Now what's nice, this game comes with a round order card to help you understand how you go about an encounter. So first thing in the setup, we need to draw 5 cards and then gain the stamina equal to the recovery and generate 2 threat tokens. So the threat tokens have been added. The stamina has been done, so I just need to draw 5 cards. All right, so I already shuffled these, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I've got my cards ready to go, ready to be used. All right, so there's a recovery phase, which we're in round 1, so we don't need to worry about that. So we're gonna go right into the hero phase. So I can play an ability into the play area, a passive card into one of my passive slots, use an instant card, and then discard it. And if I generate any threat tokens, those are gonna get placed in the bag. Okay, so the health of this guard is 14. So I want to get this guard down. Let's see what I got. So I got Battle Cry, which I'm granting 2 heroes +1 on their attack. This one's to attack, and then receive plus an attack from the guard. So it's like I'm attacking, but I'm also getting attacked more. I'm not sure about that one. Attack for 1, and then the next 2 attacks cost less, which is pretty good. Pull 3 threat tokens, and I can return any of them to their owner and then place any remaining on top of the bag. When you see this symbol here, where it has the threat token on top of a bag, that means taunt. So you'll actually be playing the threat token on top of the bag. It'll be outside of the bag, and that's going to be the first token that's going to be pulled, meaning that's going to be the first person to be attacked. Okay, so this one's not bad. I need to remind myself too, what does this do? Once per round, I can spend 2 hearts to gain a card. Okay. All right, I think I'm going to go with Leading Strike. So it'll put one of my tiles in the bag, but it's going to attack for one, and then it'll cost, the next 2 attacks are going to cost -1. And it's important to note too, that, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to do it because I'm controlling everyone, but in this game, everything is simultaneous. So you can all communicate, work together as a team, decide who can do what and when you want to do it. But yeah, I'm more of an attacker here. When I look at these guys, it's just a lot of healing, not really any attacking. So I'll play Leading Strike, meaning I'll remove one of these hearts, and I will play one of my guys here and place it in the bag. And it costs 2 stamina. So I'm going to go from 3 down to 1. My other cards, 2, 2, 4, and 1. So I can't play any of these. I could play this one, the Manipulate card, but I don't really want to pull 3 right now. This doesn't seem like it's necessary. All of these cards are decent. I'm going to hold on to these, and I'll kind of end it with that guy here. And then I just want to shore these guys up. So let's see. Ooh, the bolster ability could grant me another stamina, so I could play a different card if I wanted. Or give me a card, and then he gets 2. I'm going to go with Reinforce. It costs 2, so I'll spend 2. I get 2 block. And I myself get to draw an additional card, which is Swift Strike. It's an attack, and my next action costs less. It's pretty good. Okay, and I need to remember too, my attacks actually cost less already. So this one costs 2, but it cost me 1 less to use it. So I'm going to use Swift Strike right now because I may as well. I can afford it. So now I'm at 0, but I'm going to inflict another damage. And now my next attack will cost 1 less, but that's on top of my next attack costing 1 less. So my next attack actually is going to cost 2 less, which I could do this one, but I can't afford it. I'll hold off on that for just a second. Over here, let's do, I'm just going to do the same thing that I did over on Agent over there to Dara. So I'm going to spend 2. And I'm going to get 2 block. I could heal somebody, but I don't need healing. So that's that. I still have 2 more. I could add more block, but I don't know. I mean, I guess they would attack with 4, but they could save up. So no, I'm going to hold off. So hero phase is done. So then it says here on this round order card, enemy phase, activate enemy attacks and effects. So they're attacking 3 times. Reach in here. All right, they're attacking me. And it says here for 4. So I'm going down to 8. Luckily, I have plenty of healing options later on. This goes back to my pile over here. So now I have less of a chance of getting pulled. So that's pull number 1. All right, pull number 2 for 4 is against Dara, but she has this blockage here, so she's only going to get hit for 2. And then lastly, let's see if it's going to be Ajin. It is. Perfect. Lucky. All right. So he will also go down to 10 because he's got 2 block. And these cards that I played, those are discarded. So that's the end of the round. So now we have the recovery phase, which means block goes to 0. Everyone's going to gain their stamina. So go up to 5 there. Go up to 5 there. Go up to 3. I will draw an additional card, which I got opportunity. Grant an ally 3 cards, and your next action costs -2. Well, unfortunately, I can't grant an ally 3 cards, but there we go. Now I could keep going, but I want to move on to other parts of the game that you can so that you can understand how to play this game. But basically, if I were to do this if-then statement, if you deal 4 damage to the guard, flip this card over, then the next part says it has more text, so we would kind of get more story to this training. And if one hero receives all 3 attacks and survives, then go to 1B, and 1B is going to have more text. So or you can keep continuing the encounter up until you complete the guard's training, or until everyone dies, in which case you would read the defeated part of the book. All right, so once the battle's over, if successful, restore each hero to full health. A well-fought battle. I think you're ready for the Crucible now. Good luck out there. Each hero becomes trained, card 207. So here's the card. You may archive this card to draw 2. And then it repeats itself, but first, you'll need some gear though. Here, take your pick. Each hero chooses items to fill both of their hand slots. Items 2 through 11, and gains 1 armor, items 12 through 13. So it has some suggestions, which I think I will follow. So with my guy, I'm going to go heavy on the red, I think. So I'll get either the bone axe or the wooden club. All right, so here's the bone axe, and here's the wooden club. I think I will go with the bone axe. All right, and then for armor, we have either the hide wraps or the linen garment. So I think this one's nice. Discard to negate 3 damage. That's pretty good. Or draw a card. I'm going to go with the hide wraps. So now you can see I have my axe here in one of my hands, and I've got my hide wraps on. All right, so now it says mark supplied. So in this little pamphlet here, You'd come here and do a slash here in this box on supplied. After you make your selections, Eric heads toward the next group and shouts a parting, "Good luck out there! Gain hopefuls, quest 1-2. All right, so here it is. The guard told us we are ready for the crucible. We should head to the arena whenever we want to participate. As you exit the guard station, a young boy in a tattered tunic runs up to you. "Greetings," he cries with a wide smile. "I'm Danko. I love to show around newcomers. Are you interested in the tour?" "Yeah, I mean, why not?" Danko leads you to a central area with many booths and activities. "See," he exclaims, "lots to do here in the bazaar. Games to play, songs to sing, skits to watch. The food is delicious too. I have to go see about something, but I'll try to catch up with you later." Okay, so I could try another activity, but let's get into the map. So if leave, end exploration, and go to map A. So we're gonna go ahead and end the exploration. Okay, so here's the map. Number 1 right here, we've got guard station. Here's the Temple of Ildor, the arena, obviously, Alvos quarters, the bazaar, where we are currently, and Carmath's house. Okay, now with this first area, you don't have to use the travel actions to get around. So you could go anywhere you want, use an action, just visit a place, go to the storybook, and kind of continue on from there. So you just have to choose as a team where you want to go and start making decisions there. As you go on through this book here, at least in this demo, once you leave, now you're entering out into the wilderness. And that's where the poisonous fog known as the Pale is. And so this is obviously dangerous. It's toxic. So there are a couple things to consider when you're traveling out in the overworld. There are 3 actions that deal with moving around the map. There's travel, which to travel, you have to spend 1 ration, looks like a little drumstick, and you'll select a path to move to a connected location. So you can see the paths on the map. If you were at 9, for example, and you wanted to go to 8, then you could do that. Just follow the path, and you're going to spend your ration to do that. The next action you can do is change the map. So once again, you can spend 1 ration token and move to the connected map. So if I'm on this, I could go to D, for example. But to do that, you have to draw from the traveling event deck. So this is the deck. You would draw a card, and it says here, kind of have some text. The sky grows dark though your party believes it is only midday. You're faced with a choice, and then you can either seek shelter and rest or keep going. You'll flip the card, and it'll tell you the results of what happens. So that adds a little bit of variability, a little variety when you're traveling. And then the third action is exploring. So say I chose to spend a ration and go from 9 to 8. So I'm at 8 now. Now I want to explore it. So you'd go to your current location number in the storybook and continue on from there. Or when you arrive at a location, you can choose to simply pass through it without exploring, or you can choose to investigate the surroundings. And then there are 2 more actions, and those deal with managing rations and the time track. So there's the hunt, which adds 1 time, which I'll get to in just a second, and you gain 4 rations, which you have to do if you don't have any rations left as an action. So you're out in the wilderness, you take a little bit of time, you go hunting, you get some food. Or you can camp, which is going to add another 1 time. You're going to archive 2 ration tokens, and you're going to heal each hero to full health or remove 1 condition. And then you'll draw a camp event. So just like the traveling event deck, there is the camp event deck. So you would grab a card, it has text, A or B, flip it over, and then resolve what happens. So you can camp at any time except when you're in a dungeon or if you're in an encounter. And also when you are camping, along with healing or removing a condition, you can also tweak your deck. So I could go through my deck here and trade out cards or use the reverse side once my cards are unlocked. So this allows me to kind of make some changes, and companions may also change up their 3 selected abilities. But as I mentioned, there's time. So heroes only have so long to complete tasks before suffering debilitating effects of the Pale. Now, time is tracked in the journal. So we've got the journal here. Real quick, one thing I didn't mention is after each encounter, you're going to unlock some things based on your colors. So right here, gain adventure card AC, and then so just you'll track this as you have encounters, but going at the time here, each time the time symbol comes up, if you're camping, if you're hunting, you'll start marking the time slots, and then it's really simple, just do what it says. And you can also use the journal to write down some notes about your gameplay before you end your session, kind of like you're saving it so that you can remember what you were kind of up to. And the game also comes with tuck boxes, so you can put all of your cards specific to your character in the box and save it for your next game session. And those are the basics of how to play Echoes of the Sundering. You know, I could go into more specific details about, you know, maybe card anatomy or certain different actions and scenarios, but that's kind of the basics of how to play. The game's really straightforward. A lot of things, you just read the card and it kind of just makes sense, especially when you refer to the instructions to kind of get an idea of what certain symbols mean. It's really straightforward. So the book is your guide, you know, just follow it, follow the map, explore, and situations are just going to come to you and you're going to have encounters and just keep developing the story. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and let me know your thoughts about this game in the comments, and I'll see you next time.